Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ICEcast, and once again, I am joined by my oos, Dalton. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
So I don't,
Excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
yeah, man, I don't know if we've explained why we call each other oos.
I
For
don't
those
think
who
we
don't know,
have.
it's like a slang word for brother in the Samoan Polynesian culture. I've explained this on the podcast before how much I really enjoy their culture and everything, and so I love how they live, and just when I found out, like probably one of the first times you and I ever hung out, that you're the same way with the Samoan culture.
Oh
It
yeah,
just made sense. You're my oos,
it's
you're my
awesome,
brother. So
right?
today we've been wanting to do this for a couple weeks because there's a specific show that you and I have fallen for, and I'm
Yes,
glad
hardcore.
because this show is a spin-off of a set of movies from my generation. So for those who don't know, we're talking about Cobra Kai. Now,
Yes.
Cobra Kai is a TV spin-off of the Karate Kid movies, the first three, not the ones with Hilary Swank and everything. But
Or Jaden Smith.
Jay, yeah, that was a complete reboot, which I honestly think it shit on more than it should. It was a decent movie.
I liked it.
Yeah. Um. So before we get into it hardcore, I do want to say, for those that are out there that really pushing this show and like making videos about how good it is and don't miss it, I've been on this show for like 2-3 years since it came out on YouTube Red, and you had to buy a YouTube subscription to watch it. So now it's on Netflix and everyone's falling in love with it. I'm like, welcome to the bandwagon. I've been
Yeah,
telling
you
people
were
to
part
watch
of it
this
before it was
forever,
cool.
dude. So before we get into the show, let's talk about the movies it comes from: Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3. You recently just finally got all three of them watched, right?
Yeah, like I had seen the first one from beginning to end, but the second and third ones I had just seen pieces of. So I finally I picked a day. I'm like, all right, I'm sitting down, I'm watching them,
Yep.
and I loved them so freaking
So,
much.
dude, for me, the second one is still the best of the three. It's
Yes, I
just
love the second one. I'm
so
hoping
real.
there's a lot of season three references to the second movie.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna dive into that speculation for sure. We'll go season
But
by season a little bit. Um,
sounds good.
but for those for some reason who do not know and deserve to be freaking crane kicked in the face, Karate Kid is based off Daniel LaRusso moving as a teenager from New Jersey to Reseda, California, trying to make new friends in high school and all this. Falls for a girl whose ex-boyfriend is the school bully, so to say, Johnny Lawrence, who's part of Cobra Kai dojo and learns karate. Daniel finds Mr. Miyagi, who's the maintenance man. He teaches him karate, and then from there on it
Daniel-san.
goes. Danielson, wax on, wax off, sand the floor, paint the fence, dude. It's so good. It is kind of like a Rocky movie, good
Oh yeah.
guy trying to build up to beat the bad guy, and so those who don't really like that, I understand. But when you get to the second one, and the second movie hits right after the first movie ended, the tournament's over. Miyagi gets a letter from his home back in Okinawa. His dad's dying. They got to fly back. All this drama goes on with an old friend of Miyagi's, and that guy's nephew Chosen, who doesn't
Oh
like,
yeah.
and there's like a fight to the death, and so good. The story between them was amazing. And then the third one was I think underrated. It's the worst
Yeah.
still, but it's underrated. So you get, and that takes place right after Okinawa. They come back. Um, Kreese is back, who is the
Yeah.
I have Karate Kid, and he reopens the dojo, and his old friend Terry Silva's there, and they get this guy Mike Barnes, who's the karate bat.
The badass of karate.
So they get him to fight in the tournament, and so out of all three movies, before we get into the show, I think the best pure fighter would have been Chosen. I think Chosen could have beat Johnny. He could have beat Mike Barnes.
Yeah. The problem with Chosen is, and it's almost like you can almost kind of relate to Cobra Kai, is he fights with anger.
Yep.
He doesn't fight with, actually trying to be skillful. He just fights with, I gotta win, I gotta win, I gotta win. It's not like, all right, let me use my skills and, fight right to win.
It was all about honor for him and how his honor was, to broke. And it was just he didn't know what honor was, and he just fought
Right.
anger. And Daniel ultimately pulled through, just like they do. I wouldn't have minded if, like, the third movie, if something would happen where Daniel lost or something. But
Right.
so before this show started, there was always a theory of Karate Kid 1 how Daniel was the real bully. This new
Yep.
kid comes to town, takes the girl, takes the attention away, beats up this kid who's just trying to, be senior year. He said he's not a degenerate anymore. I'm turning over a new leaf. And
Right.
that's Johnny Lawrence was an asshole. He was
Yeah.
he was the bad.
Like, even part of that theory too is people say every fight between Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence, people are saying technically Daniel instigated, like kind of pushed the buttons,
Yeah.
I guess you can say, to start it.
He should have just left it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. What I want to say about the movies is the score of the movies done by Bill Conti, and I think that's how you say it, Conti or whatever. But you go from like the first movie at the very end when he hits that crane kick and the cymbals hit. There's just something special about that. And whoever was in charge of the what am I trying to say? The soundtrack for the movies.
Oh yeah.
Like, so for the first movie, you've got the best around, that during the tournament. I'm the best around. Like, that was a great song. You got Bananarama singing Cruel Summer. In the second movie, you got I forgot his name. But I mean, it's just the soundtracks are so good.
Yeah. There's not one like song or series of sounds that go through any of the movies that are bad. Right. It's always like on point.
And what's awesome is, like, you take the first movie and it's set in the 80s. The movies came out in the 80s, very 80s nostalgia music, and it feels so 80s. The second movie, they used the pipe flute and did this really cool noise for the Okinawa sound, and you get a lot more drums and and it was just a whole different score, but still awesome. Like, really good stuff.
Yeah. And with the 80s thing, especially with the first movie, I love how much that transferred over to the series.
Yep.
Like, you got like a lot of them songs that play, like Johnny's car, like there's a lot of the 80s references in the series.
So getting to the series, Cobra Kai is following, I think it's about 30 years after the first tournament. Johnny Lawrence, it follows the same actors. Johnny Lawrence played by William Zabka. You're seeing it almost from his point of view. So it starts off like with the tournament ending, the crane kick hitting him, and you see him, falling, and you see him basically just a shit of a person. Drinks beer in the morning, he's ramen for breakfast kind of guy.
Frying up some bologna with some ketchup.
Oh, Jesus, that's something Bliss would eat. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I felt not even would. He probably does.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. But eventually you get to a point where you find out Daniel LaRusso is still played by Ralph Macchio, but he's like an owner of a car sales company that has like 4 different stores, and he's got this big house. Yeah, he's got a big house, beautiful wife, two kids, I think. And so it goes on to show that, like, Daniel did all this. He's great. Yay for Daniel. But it does show this other side of Johnny just trying to survive. And when they meet again for the first time, Daniel's kind of a dick. Like, it's a big technical. I kicked his face. It's like, oh, come on, man.
Right. It's like it's 30 years later, and that's like one of the first things you're going to bring up.
And so, the show in this first season goes on. You find out about Miguel, who is Johnny's neighbor, who is actually in the position Daniel was in. Miguel's getting bullied a lot and stuff like that. And so he goes to Johnny to teach him. Johnny ends up reopening Cobra Kai, and we get awesome characters like Hawk out of it.
Hawk.
And so the thing is, like, you see the same story, I would say, because you got the kid getting bullied coming back, but from a different point of view. And then you come to find out Johnny has a son.
Oh yeah, that was
that blew my mind.
A lot. Yeah.
Who ends up going and training with Daniel? So that mixes things all up.
This movie, that movie series is just so back and forth with, like, am I leaning with this side? Am I leaning with this side? Like, who do I side with?
That's the thing. You kind of want to go with Cobra Kai because you start feeling this empathy for Johnny, and definitely for Miguel, who we forgot to mention is dating Daniel's daughter at the beginning. So it's like, oh God. So that's Sam,
who also was in the car that hit Johnny in the hit and run.
Yep.
So it's like there's so many connections that aren't really connected completely yet.
Yeah. So with that going on, so you got Cobra Kai, Johnny's training Miguel. You got Miyagi-Do, Daniel's trading Robbie, who's Johnny's son. And it ends up going down to another tournament at the end, Robbie versus Johnny, or not Johnny, Robbie versus Miguel. And it goes to Cobra Kai this time. So it's almost like you're getting that ending that you kind of wanted. Sometimes the good guy doesn't always win. But was that the good guy? I mean, Miguel started off the series real low, like Daniel ended up winning. It's just he's wearing a different gi,
But you do see kind of that dark side, I guess you can say, start to come out a little bit of Miguel, where even like there's multiple instances where his mom mentions like, I don't really like what I'm seeing a little bit. And that was really interesting.
You also see the empathy from Johnny during that tournament. Remember? So like Miguel goes for that cheap shot on Robbie, and you could tell Johnny didn't like that. And so in the beginning of season 2, he actually addresses that and say, we don't take cheap shots.
Right.
But at the very end of season 1, we get the return of Kreese, which was, dude, my jaw was left on the floor.
Right. You're like, what? Wait, what?
When I watched it, I watched the entire first season in one day.
Yeah, I did too.
Knew about it. I was psyched, and I was on YouTube. This wasn't even on Netflix yet, and I watched it. And then I had to wait like a year and a half, 2 years until the second season. And I'm like, come on.
Oh, I couldn't imagine. See, for me, I was lucky because season 2 was already released and on Netflix and everything, so I could just watch it through. Yep. I couldn't imagine having to wait. I'm already like going crazy trying to wait for season 3.
Yeah, that's coming out next year, early next year, I think.
January 8th or 6th, one of those two.
I can't wait. So second season.
So pumped.
We'll go to the second season. You bring in a new character, because at the end of the first season you see Kreese, but you also see Sam, who's Daniel's daughter, out of nowhere just perform some dope ass karate move. Like, she knew karate.
Just the home dojo out of nowhere.
Yeah. And so you bring in Tori, who's played by one of your favorite actresses, Peyton List.
Yeah. My girlfriend, hopefully one day wife.
Right. So
I'll move to LA tomorrow, man. I'll move tomorrow.
I feel you. She absolutely killed that role.
Yes. I was actually watching a YouTube video talking about her and then the character. She actually got the audition for it super last minute, she said, and actually didn't think she was going to get the role. And so, but I know that's what I'm curious about. And so, but she actually ended up getting the call back and got the role. But it was almost a chance that she didn't get it, which it's hard to imagine not being her because of how well it's played by her.
Imagine somebody else playing her. Like there's no way. She absolutely embodied that character of this badass chick that just also out of nowhere knew karate. So she comes into Cobra Kai, and they say, all right, we'll go up against our champion, and she basically just takes Miguel out.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of conspiracy theories towards Tori that we'll hit it after we kind of recap season 2 and we get into the season 3 hopefuls and stuff. But season 2 goes on. Kreese and Johnny kind of run Cobra Kai together a little. You can see more of Kreese seeping into the kids, which is dangerous.
Yeah, very.
You get one of my favorite episodes of the season is when Johnny goes away with the Cobra Kai boys from his class. And
the best idea that those writers had was reuniting.
These writers grew up on the movies, so they've been killing it. Every episode they've been killing it. And so like they go away, they have the boys weekend away because one of them is dying, and it was who's that? Is it Bobby? I don't remember his name.
I think so.
Dutch isn't there. Dutch was the blonde curly haired one in the first movie. He's not there.
I actually know why he wasn't. I figured out why he actually wasn't in the show at all. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Right after the movies, as he grew up, he started his own racing company. And so he actually turned down the role because he's sticking with his racing company.
Oh shit.
So they tried to get him, but they just had to make up a
Right.
story for why he wasn't there
Yeah,
because
they said
he
he's in
turned down
jail.
the role.
But
Yeah.
it matched the character. Dutch was a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Oh yeah. And one thing
he
that's
was
really sad, I figured out too. A couple of days after that episode, the actor that played Bobby that died in the show actually died in real life.
I
Which
know.
is
That was
super sad.
that was chilling because of the way the episode went.
Yeah.
And to know that he also passed. For those that don't know, that's the character that is pretty famously known for screaming, "Put him in a body bag." So he's good. Tommy was one of my favorite characters. He's the one that had more empathy. The one that ended up taking a leg out, which I don't know why, but I just recently heard when he took Daniel's leg out originally before Daniel fought Johnny. Apparently he broke Daniel's leg. I was like, really?
I did not know
It
that.
looked like something that would have broke it, and if he broke his leg, this isn't going to help it. You know what I mean? But anyway, movie magic.
Also, one of my favorite parts of the ending of season 1 was when Robbie was hurt and back in the locker room, and Daniel goes, "Nurse."
Yep, it was hilarious.
Oh, like that is perfect.
Because for me, like as a big old Karate Kid fan, Daniel goes like this, and that drum hits, doom, and he starts going. I was like, oh, here we go, and he goes, "Nurse," and I was like,
yeah,
okay. I was like, yeah, that's a Miyagi thing. I get it. Was good on you.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was great writing. Oh, that was good. So back to the second one. Tori's in now. She's learning. Johnny goes out with the guys. They have one last kind of weekend before Bobby passes, Bobby. And when he comes back, Kreese has already pretty much taken over. The kids follow his lead, his style. I don't think Miguel was a part of the attack, but I know they attack the Miyagi-Do.
Yeah, Miguel wasn't.
Yeah, or Miyagi's house where Daniel's been training his kids. They go in, they ransack the place and turn it over. They actually end up stealing Miyagi's Medal of Honor.
That made me so mad. Yeah, because that's just like, if you're gonna, like, obviously I'm not condoning what they did, but if they were gonna do that, stealing the Medal of Honor is a whole nother level that you don't cross.
Yeah, that was rough. But putting it in there was good writing, because I got even more mad with Cobra Kai.
Yep.
The second season, you can definitely tell they were trying to make Cobra Kai the bad guys, whereas in the first season, I didn't know. So they ransack the place. Miguel ends up finding out Hawk had the Medal of Honor, which kind of starts them a little. So by this time, Miyagi-Do has more people. A couple of them, actually old Cobra Kai kids, came over to train. One of your favorite characters came from Chris, big black dude, went from Cobra Kai to Miyagi-Do. Hawk's old best friend is now training with Miyagi-Do. And that's
Dimitri.
Helpless as oh man, but
I got these names on point.
Dude, that little fight scene though with Robbie and Sam.
Oh yeah.
That choreograph, it was just so good. But like Dimitri's still at a point where he can't defend himself. So
yeah, or he's almost too scared to at least attempt.
Yeah, it seems
he's more on the fight or flight. It's the flight. Like he's gone.
So there's more things that go on. They end up having like a house party somewhere, and Sam and Tori, who haven't got along.
Moon's house.
Moon, yeah.
Ooh, fun fact: her and Miguel in real life are dating.
You told me that. That's right.
Yeah.
So Hawk's ex, who ended up being a lesbian in the show, is actually dating Miguel in real life, and Robbie and Sam are actually like best friends in real life.
Yep.
Do a lot of.
That's got to be awkward. They're like romantic scenes when they're best friends. He's also friends with her boyfriend in real life. Like that's got to be weird. I feel like, but that's part of the job.
Like Stranger Things, Millie Bobby Brown and Finn Wolfhard were like best friends, and then they have to play a couple as teenagers. It's got to be a weird thing, but that's Hollywood, man. They got to get used to it, I guess. So at the party, Tori and Sam have a little drinking contest, and that gets bad.
Sam one leg balance.
remember at the party is when Sam kisses Miguel again, but
Yep.
at the time she's dating Robbie now and all this other drama stuff. So that happens. Tori sees it, and that's what leads to the big final
The
episode.
best part of the show so far.
Season will lead you to one of the best fight scenes in like TV to me.
Yeah,
and that's
honestly.
And you said you just watched a video of the actors going through it.
Yeah, I honestly didn't finish it, but I got through most of it, and I actually got some really cool details about it that I didn't even notice.
Okay, go ahead.
So the way they filmed it, I got some notes on my phone here, was they filmed it as I forget what the actual term is, but it's like one scene. There's no camera cuts. So it's all like one flowing thing. And it was actually cool. The actors, when they switch out with their stunt doubles, they're actually just getting behind the extras and waiting till they come back in. So there's a couple of moments where if you look in the background a little bit, you can actually tell that there's stunt doubles there. Like Mary Mauser slant. Huh?
You were cutting in and out like a robot there for a second.
Oh dang.
Okay,
Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good. So Mary Mauser?
Yeah, she slams Peyton List, and then Peyton List gets back up. If you look in the background, it's Tanner Buchanan and Solo fight, or I forget how it's like Solo or something like that, are fighting. Right. But it's actually, if you look closely, it's his stunt double. It's Miguel's stunt double. So it's kind of interesting to see, like, actually pay attention a little bit. And like when Peyton List was slammed, obviously it was a stunt double getting slammed on the ground.
Right.
And Peyton List was in that staircase you see behind them after they get up. And so she runs back in and then is in the cut.
I mean, that's a good way to film it. Aside from Hawk chasing down Dimitri through the whole school, I think it was all done in a one take kind of deal.
Yeah.
But the Hawk Dimitri move is a very like Terminator 2 like nod, because Hawk is just kind of like walking very slowly and methodically through the hallways calling for Dimitri, and he just has this look of pure evil.
That, or I kind of pictured a little bit of like The Shining.
Yeah.
Dimitri.
That's a good nod, actually. That's a good catch on that. So the whole fight begins with Tori basically calling Sam out for kissing
on the
Miguel.
Overhead.
Dude, yeah. Just savage mode.
Oh yeah. That was like the most, I think in my opinion, one of the most badass moments of Tori. Just walking in, just give me this thing. Yep. You know what you did, and you're gonna pay for it.
Yep. So they kind of start brawling, and Robbie's there to try to break him up. Miguel sees it and thinks Robbie's doing something to Tori, and then they start fighting, and that just leads to Cobra Kai versus Miyagi-Do. So all this is going down. Dimitri actually gets the head up on Hawk with a nice little spin kick.
Freaking awesome, bro. Yeah. I literally started clapping and cheering when I saw that. Just because I'm like, yeah, stand up.
One of my favorite parts was them rushing to get the teacher, and the teacher just going, I don't get paid enough for this.
Yeah, right?
Like, no. Like, all these kids fighting, they know more than me.
Yeah, he sees the other teacher get, like, slammed or something like that, like, flipped. And he's like, no.
Yeah. So that, like, we're skipping over a bunch of stuff because I want you to actually watch the seasons if you're watching this. If you're at all a fan of the movies, even a little bit, watch this show. It's such a good show.
And I got a bunch of cool little, like,
oh yeah, we got a bunch of stuff we're gonna get into.
Behind the scenes facts that we're gonna get into too.
Because we got season 3 coming up, and you and I have a lot of things we hope is coming. There's a lot of theories going on. So do you want to hit that first, or do you want to give me everything you got?
I say we roll into season 3, and then we'll kind of get behind the scenes stuff.
All right. So at the end of season 2, Robbie and Miguel are to the point where Robbie has him dead to rights. And he starts listening to, like thinking back at Johnny saying, dude, stop. Like, you don't have to do this anymore. Yeah. You know, he starts realizing
there's a difference between honor and no mercy.
Right. So Robbie actually lets go. As soon as he does, Robbie does that kick, sends Miguel flying off the second floor of the school, lands on the stair rails, and I'm assuming broke his back. By the end of the season,
his stunt double actually took that fall.
Oh yeah, screw that. Like no.
Oh no.
No. I remember like late teens thinking I could do a stunt double. Like I could fall. I fall all the time. I'm clumsy. Like I could do that. No. Like stuff like that, falling from buildings. No, I'm good. But so like at the end he's in the hospital. Miguel's not responding like to anything. Robbie, we don't know where he went. Johnny, Miguel's mom told Johnny, I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want you to see my kid anymore.
Stay away from my kid. Yeah.
Yep. So, and at the same time, Sam is sad because Miguel's hurt, or Sam's mom, who's Daniel's wife, is having trouble with Daniel because Daniel was never home. He was always training, and so now you got
Daniel, karate over the business.
Yeah. So now you got Daniel and Johnny in this weird spot of like, what do I do with my life now? Now, while this is all going on, Johnny for a couple episodes was trying to get a hold of Allie Mills, who from the first Karate Kid was the girl that they fought over. So at the end of the episode, he's sitting on the beach on his car, his Cobra Kai car, with one of the best renditions of an 80s song I've ever heard. It's a remix and a cover of Bananarama's Cruel Summer, and it is just chilling during that scene.
Yeah. It almost does to how the song plays, just puts you in that mood of just wow.
Yeah. Especially everything that just went down. You're coming down off of that big fight scene. It's just done so well. Johnny throws his phone. He doesn't want it anymore. He throws the keys in the car and just walks away. Phone lights up saying Allie Mills accepted his friend request. So we know Allie's coming in season 3 of some kind.
Somehow.
The only thing, that's basically the end of season 2. Daniel's marriage is on the rocks. He doesn't know what to do. He's lost his way. We don't know what Johnny's doing. Miguel's not responding. We don't know where Robbie is. As of right now, we're recording on 11/7, November 7th. As of right now, we've gotten teasers. We know that at some point, Daniel goes back to Okinawa and sees Chosen. What I think is...
Well, not for sure, though, right?
No, for
sure. I
sure.
haven't seen anything that proves that. Oh, really?
While we were talking, I'm going to send you the clip. So
I haven't seen the for sure that... I've heard talks about it, but I haven't seen the for sure clip. And I know he picked up the book, the Okinawa book, off Robbie's bed, so I figured it.
So we know that that's going to happen. What I think is going to happen is that I think Chosen isn't going to be like his uncle. I think when he sees Daniel, it's not going to be my honor's still hurt, we must fight to death. I think he's going to be like, look, past is in the past. They might have a scuffle, I think, at first, but I think it's going to get to a point where Chosen says, look, I was trained by my uncle, who was trained by Miyagi's father also, so I know what you know, but you don't know everything. I think he's going to show him a whole different side of Miyagi-Do.
Right.
So I'm really excited about that. I really hope that by the end of season 3, this is skipping ahead of theories, I hope we get Daniel and Johnny against Kreese and either Mike Barnes or Terry Silver. I think it's going to be Mike Barnes.
I do too. And the reason I can see it coming is in that right before the school fight scene in season 2, Robbie says to Johnny, when referring to Daniel LaRusso, you guys can learn a lot from each other. So I think that's a bit of an Easter egg to maybe something in season 3. I hope they're not waiting until season 4. It better not wait till season 4. But hopefully that's an Easter egg for season 3.
I would love to see Johnny go with Daniel to Okinawa.
Yes.
Because like you can't deny Johnny knows his shit when it comes to karate. He knows what to do.
Right.
He just doesn't have that deep stuff that Daniel was able to get with Miyagi.
Right.
So I would love if he goes to Okinawa with him. I don't think he will. But real quick, I'm going to ask you to watch that trailer, and then we'll be right back.
All right.
Okay, so we are back, and as you see on the face, you just watched it, and tell me now he goes to Okinawa, and Chosen is in season 3.
That
chills, right?
Yes. 2021 needs to hurry up for multiple reasons, but Cobra Kai especially.
Multiple. So like in the trailer, if you watch, it basically at the very end, he says, Miss Miyagi treated me like a son. He wouldn't hide anything from me. And then you hear Chosen say, "Are you sure?" So you know that it's about to get real deep, I think.
Oh yeah.
There was a little bit like I wanted for a minute like for Chosen to come back to California with Daniel, but I was like, no, he needs to stay in Okinawa. Let Johnny and Daniel team up.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I'm hyped for season 3.
Yeah.
One of the theories also revolves around Tori and who her parents are because we don't know.
Right.
Now,
you and me actually had different ideas on that.
Right. Well, I'm starting to. You'll hear me out here. One of the first theories ever was that she was Allie with an I's. Allie with a Y?
I.
Allie with an I. Because that's how Allie Mills said it in the first movie. They thought it was her daughter because she introduced herself as Tori with a Y. So they were like, "Oh, that's Allie's daughter. Oh my gosh."
With an I. Right.
Anyway, so it's definitely not her daughter. That's been confirmed actually. A lot of people thought it'd be Terry Silver's daughter. You said you think it could be Mike Barnes' daughter.
Mike Barnes, yep.
I was on the Terry Silver bandwagon for a minute, and then I thought Terry and Kreese are super close. If he had a daughter, Kreese would have known about it.
Yeah.
So when she came in, he didn't know who she was. Mike Barnes makes more sense. So that could be, if it comes out saying, well, what's your name? Oh, it's Tori Barnes, and you'd be like, oh shit.
Right.
Like, you don't know her last name. From what I know, you don't know her last name
I've never heard it said before.
Right.
And even on because there's a couple times when it shows like people's social media tag or some in their contact, it's always just Tori. Right. It's never said a last name.
Right. So season 3's coming out. Season 3 was actually already filmed, and I'm like 98% edited before COVID hit. So we could have had it already. Sucks, but it actually worked out better. It worked out better because they waited till basically season 1, 2 got to Netflix. It's built a much bigger following, which I am super grateful for because this show deserves it. When it was on YouTube, I was trying to push it to people I knew that liked Karate Kid because I knew they would like this story continued. And so now that it's on Netflix, people are like, "Oh, dude, have you seen Karate Kid?" I was like, "I'll smack you, like you cut, dude, like right in the back of the
cut, G."
Yeah, like I was like, I told you about this 2 years ago, but. So season 3, it's coming up. Those are the main things I think. If there's anything that you remember theory wise that we're kind of open for.
The main thing that I've been hoping for is with Tori being Mike Barnes' daughter. Yeah. Because I think it'd be kind of cool for Mike Barnes to show up in this series.
I think
kind of partner with Kreese, and then
I think he will.
He kind of looks over and sees Tori and goes, "Tori?" Like not realizing that she's a part of Cobra Kai. And then that all kind of clicking, and she's like, "Dad?"
Wouldn't you think that if that was the way they wrote it, it would almost make it to where he doesn't want her doing it? Because I don't think that would be. I think it'd be more interesting if she just something comes out and she's like, well, Kreese is like, I can't do this on my own, because he got real close with her and Hawk. So if something was like, Kreese was like, I can't do this on me, she's like, my dad will help.
But she's never mentioned her dad before.
Exactly.
She's only mentioned her mom, where she was like, my mom, was taking leftovers from the restaurant to feed me and my brother.
Right. Which could have been a lie.
True. But, there's a whole lot, especially when it comes to Kreese situations, there's a lot of lying.
But it would be cool if she were to say, like, my dad could help or something, and him show up. Because, Kreese would kind of just see him and just be like get that grin.
Kreese, yeah.
The only thing is, I don't think Johnny knows about Mike Barnes in any way. Daniel does.
Right.
So
that could be almost like a connection for them, for Johnny to be like, yeah, Kreese brought in this other guy, and Daniel's just like, what's his name? Mike Barnes. Yeah. And he's like, has that look like, right? And he's like, and Johnny's just like, what, you know him?
Mm-hmm.
That would be awesome.
Because I wouldn't mind seeing Terry Silver again in some capacity. I don't think I want him to be Tori's father though. I think that doesn't make sense because the age
And I
gap.
don't think the age would add up.
No, because he's Kreese's age, whereas the kids are all Daniel's kids, and like the age gap, it'd be a whole generation.
Right.
It's still possible. Like it could be done, but it makes.
He was rich. He could have some young honeys.
Yeah, you never know. The dude was loaded. But for those that you gotta watch this show. It's so good.
Yes.
Fans of Karate Kid for sure. Fans that if you weren't fans of the Karate Kid and you're just looking for a real good show, even if you're not like into the action stuff, which there's a lot of action, but you want a good story, you got to watch it. It's all over the place. It's great.
Even if you haven't seen the movies and want to watch the show first, there is nothing wrong with that. And then watch the movies as like a flashback, because that's what I did. Because I had seen the first one, didn't see the second and third, but then watching as a flashback and then connecting some dots, I was like, what?
So the first two seasons connect just the first movie basically.
Yeah, but there's a couple hints to the second.
There's a couple hints, but this third season could really pull towards the second movie with Chosen and everything. So it'll be interesting to see. I hope they don't, because a lot of people thought they might bring in what's her name from the second movie, Yukie, who was Daniel's love interest. I don't want him to do that because I don't want there to be anything between Daniel and his wife. I think that's fine.
Right.
Don't try to break him up.
Well, there already was not necessarily hints, but like when him and Johnny were at the bar and they were both kind of, talking about the good old days and both talking about Allie, the way Daniel talked about her a little bit had like some.
So you already know Allie's coming to season 3. That's already
has to,
issue for the two of them. But from the beginning of the second movie, Allie kind of did Daniel pretty wrong. But you said you got a whole list of interesting facts from the series.
Some cool little stuff. I got a little mix of Easter eggs and then like just behind the scenes kind of factual stuff. Okay. So my first Easter egg was actually the name of episode 1 is Ace Degenerate. And they got that name from when in the first movie, when the Cobra Kai guys roll up on the beach on the dirt bikes, Bobby, he says something, but then he says Ace Degenerate. So that's actually where they got the name for the first episode. And then
because that's when Johnny responds with X Degenerate, man. I'm turning my life around.
Yeah.
And that's when they pointed out. They're like, hey, take a right, check it out. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the beginning of episode 2, this is actually, I didn't actually notice this the first time I watched it, but I did the second time. When episode 2 of season 1, Miguel's washing the windows and the mats. And he says, Sensei Lawrence, do you want me to wash these in any ways? And he goes, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Wax on, wax off, dude. Come on. Yeah, no, I don't care. Just watch it. Yes, that shows a huge difference in what Johnny knows and what Daniel knows. That's why it's going to be cool to see them if they partner up.
Oh, and also the same thing with the mats was Miguel goes, do I have to do this? Is this actually part of my training? And Johnny says, don't question my methods. That's almost exactly what Miyagi said to Daniel in the first movie with wax on, wax off. He's like, don't question it, just do it.
Right.
So,
wax on, wax off, sand the floor, paint the fence, and side to side. Yep. Oh,
and also in season 1, episode 9, when this is when Johnny was getting a car from the used car lot in Daniel's dealership.
Because Daniel found out that his daughter was part of the hit and run, so Daniel was hooking Johnny up.
And so Daniel actually asked she was the front desk lady earlier in the series, hey, can you get Robbie to do a test drive? And she's like, no, Robbie's off. I'm like, if Robbie was working, he would have showed up to be the test drive with his dad. So that would have changed the narrative completely.
So that's how Robbie and Daniel met. Is Robbie ended up working for Daniel at the car dealership for those
originally to get back at his dad, but it ended up becoming a whole connection between them.
Yep.
Oh, I loved at the beach party when they crashed the popular chicks party, like at their first or whatever.
Right.
Dimitri's super awkward attempt at flirting.
I mean,
Like,
he's such a real person, dude. You can relate
right?
to that character so well.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, it's like I relate, but I'm also cringing.
Right. It hurt. It
Yeah,
hurt.
so much so. And then these are some more things I have to like. So in the first movie, Zabka actually didn't know karate
Okay.
during the filming of the first movie, but after that, he kept up with it all the way up until now. Till I believe, if I remember correctly, he got up to a second degree green belt.
Wow.
So he got pretty serious in it, and
I
still
didn't know
kept
that
up
at
with
all.
it. Of course, when they started doing the series, he had to refresh his brain a little bit and his muscle
Right.
memory, but it was all still there. And then there was I saw a thing too. They're talking about like, yeah, he's definitely not the young kid like he used to be in the movies. In that very first fight scene where he stood up for Miguel, he both pulled his hammy and broke his toe.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
That makes
that's
so much
like,
sense.
it makes sense.
Yeah. It was good too because as a character, he sold it. He did all that, and then he was like,
Yeah,
"Oh God!" Like he really
right.
sold.
But I feel
Like
like
I'm
he was
too,
actually
too old
hurting
for
a little
this.
bit.
He probably was, right?
And the way they said the way it broke wasn't like a snap back kind of break. It was a shoved into his foot kind of break, like a
Oh,
super jam.
oh.
Yeah,
No,
you
no
know that was
thanks.
actually pretty painful. Which there's
Yeah.
actually a lot of injuries that happen, and a couple things. It takes an hour for them to do Hawk's hair.
Are you
A
really?
full hour
It's a
to get
big
that
mohawk, dude.
big old hawk. Yeah, I know. I
Dude,
want it. If I didn't have to keep a
I
professional look
want
for
it.
work, I would have
Right?
that mohawk.
It's up there too. Like,
Yeah. And then it also takes 30 to 45 minutes for them to do his tattoo, depending on how much he moves in the scene, because then they
right,
put a little more detail into it.
right. So yeah, on the show, he has a big tattoo of a hawk on his back, which
With
we
the
find out.
mohawk.
Which we find out in season 2. He gets a new tattoo color on the hawk's hair
Right.
every time he colors his hair.
Yeah, when he colors it. I
Which is
wonder if he's
pretty
going
cool.
to change the color again, because he
Oh, I'm
was
sure.
red at the end. So I wonder if he'll go yellow, like the
He
Cobra
went
Kai
from
yellow.
he went from blue to red, so I'm sure he'll do something.
Yeah. And then, so you know how Jaden Smith was on the kind of reboot of the movie?
Right.
Growing up, Will Smith was a huge fan of the original movies, and he's actually a producer for the show.
Yep.
I did not know that.
I don't think I knew that either. He produces Cobra Kai.
Yeah, Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai? Like your
Jesus,
grocery
stroke book
store
entry.
/ dojo?
Jeez.
Kroger Kai. Get your groceries and your karate.
Oh, appreciate that.
Oh yeah, guy. I know when the guys watch this, they're gonna
Yeah.
I'd have to pick up on it.
I know. Dang it.
And then
I've been
another thing.
fucking my words so much lately.
Oh yeah. And another thing I realized, so a lot of it's actually filmed in LA, but there's also a lot of it filmed in Atlanta. Like
Probably the forest scenes.
No, actually, well, I think that one I'm not sure about, but I know like the dojo location for Cobra Kai is in Atlanta.
The exterior?
The whole thing. Or I'm not sure about the inside, but I know the exterior is.
Really? That's
Yeah,
dope.
it's in Atlanta.
Trying to see it. That's
Yeah,
cool.
so you could actually like drive past where Cobra Kai dojo was in the show. Which they did really good at not making that not look like California.
Mm-hmm.
Because, there's certain, obviously Atlanta looks nothing like California.
Exactly.
And so they did a really good job of not making that obvious.
Right. Yeah, I would have had no clue.
And this might be my favorite fact to have. The headband that Daniel LaRusso wears in the series is the original headband from the movies.
He kept it.
Yeah, he kept it.
As a kid, he kept it. I remember that. But I don't think I
wore
knew
it in
that.
the series.
I believe it though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same one.
That's awesome. It's good.
Yeah, and a weird thing too is Ralph Macchio, Daniel LaRusso, is actually almost 20 years older than the actress that plays his wife. He's 59, she's 41.
Robbing a cradle. Damn.
Yeah. So I never realized there was that age gap.
Well, that's because he still looks like he's 13. Like Ralph Macchio is aging like porcelain.
Yeah.
Dude still looks the same. A couple wrinkles here and there. Oh.
And another thing, I actually picked up this one on my own, but then it was confirmed when I watched another video. Was so you know how Johnny sublets the building to the yoga company or whatever to come in. The first yoga position that they do is called the Cobra.
That's funny.
Yeah, so it's like, hey, that makes sense.
Right. That's pretty cool.
Man. That was all my little tidbits and
No,
Easter
that's
eggs
good
that
stuff.
I had.
So here's one that you might not know. And obviously I can't do it on here because of copyright issues, but I'm going to make sure you listen to this afterwards. Ralph Macchio and William Zabka were in a music video together. And
Really?
it's a band called No More Kings, and the title of the song is Sweep the Leg.
Okay.
It is dope song. So
Let me write that down real quick.
Yeah, we'll listen to it after we're done recording.
Okay, yep.
Because you got to watch the music video. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll put the link for that music video in this description because if you're a Karate Kid fan, even if you don't like the music, it's cool to see. William Zabka's in it. All the Cobra Kai guys are in it. And Ralph Macchio.
I just remembered 2 more facts.
Go ahead. What you got?
Johnny Lawrence's wife in the show, they actually played husband and wife in Hot Tub Time Machine.
I don't think I recognize her from that.
Yep.
Wow. So they already had a little bit of chemistry.
Yeah.
They have great chemistry on the show.
Oh, yeah. And then another fact about the final fight scene in the school. So they only had 4 days to do that whole scene. So they did 2 days of like prep, I guess you could say, and then 2 days of actual filming. In day 1, Mary Mauser broke her finger. And so, because she like went to go like block a kick almost, and it got kicked into her hand and broke her finger. So she actually ended up in the ER. And then the second day of filming, and you can actually notice it as her and Tori are going up the stairs in the fight scene, she has her fingers taped.
Oh.
So there's a part you can pause it just right, or like kind of watch it and pay attention really closely. Her fingers are taped, and she's actually throwing punches and stuff with taped fingers.
Tough chick.
Yeah.
She's a tough chick, dude. Yeah. Mary Mauser plays Sam, who's Daniel's daughter, if we didn't cover that. But yeah, they have the new teaser out, since we haven't hit on that yet. Not the teaser that I showed you, but the actual season 3 teaser. They do show Robbie in a juvenile facility.
I got an idea on that.
He's in there. We see Miguel open his eyes.
Yeah.
That's good.
Which I'm curious if he has any mobility problems.
I really don't want them to make him paralyzed. I don't want that.
I don't think he'll be paralyzed, but maybe like a little rehab and then get back into the karate scene.
I just want him to still be able to fight.
Yeah.
I would love for Robbie to just go full Cobra Kai at this point.
Yeah. I would like to see Robbie and Miguel. Oh, Robbie at Cobra Kai, you said? I don't think he will, because he's not Robbie.
Oh, but we got who are you gonna have fight? Are you gonna have Robbie and Miguel make up and Robbie fight Hawk at the end of season 3?
I want to see Robbie and Miguel at Miyagi though, with Johnny and Daniel as senseis. I think
you'll see Miguel for sure.
Yeah,
be with
that was just gonna take some explaining to catch Miguel up. That Johnny took over and all that. I mean, not Johnny. Kreese.
Yeah. So we also see at some point Johnny in a police cell. Looks like an overnight holding.
Yeah.
But his face is all busted up.
Yep. I got so many things.
Also a scene where Hawk is standing over somebody with bloody knuckles.
Yep. And
does Johnny get his ass handed to him by Hawk?
And I believe you see Kreese with like a bloodied nose or something like that.
Right.
I think my theory is that Johnny punches Kreese, and then Hawks like comes in, like sweeps his leg or something, and then just goes to town.
I feel the same way. I think that's something you can see. Hawk is 100% Cobra Guy, 100% on that side. That. So he's some kind of villain.
Think of the things.
All right.
Another little fact is actually really, I didn't really notice it until it was pointed out to me. His scar on his lip actually fades throughout the show.
Fades?
Yeah, like you don't notice it.
Really?
And the reason they do it, like it's not as noticeable. And the reason it may not have been purposeful, and it may just look like it's getting faded, but I think it's the transition of him as Eli Moskowitz to Hawk.
Right.
Like he is not the same person.
Right.
At all.
No, not all. Do you know that's a fake scar too?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people.
I've
The first season.
I watched Jacob Bertrand when he was on freaking Disney Channel.
Okay.
Like I remember a show that
He's a
he was in
great
that I
actor.
watched. Oh yeah.
So, I'm trying to think of what else was in the trailer. You don't see much else from it.
Oh, you see a half second of Tori.
Yeah, like entering a restaurant or club of some kind.
Yeah.
So
it was
I don't.
really confusing.
Yeah,
Which good work by them.
Yeah, no clue where they're going with it. Hawk and her are for sure still Cobra Kai 110%.
Yeah.
So you know you're gonna have another Tori Sam fight, I'm sure.
Yep.
Hawk's either gonna fight Miguel, or Hawk's gonna fight Robbie, and Robbie's gonna be like, "I'm sorry, Miguel. I'm doing this for you," kind of deal. Which they could go away, and I'd be okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm excited, dude.
I like to see Miguel and Hawk in like the final showdown in like a tournament or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's incredible. The show's
it's awesome. I'm about to watch it a third time, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. The thing that I love about it is because it brings me back to the original movies, which I grew up with. I grew up with. Now I'm 37 years old. You're 19.
Right.
But we can connect on this same exact universe because of Cobra Kai.
Right.
Because they're, you've got Johnny and Daniel that I can relate to, and I'm like, I'm following their story still. But then you've got the new ones, the Robbies, the Miguels, that your age is like, oh, I can relate to that.
It's bringing all of this to a new generation.
Yeah. And it brought you to be like, all right, well, let me watch those movies again and realize how great of movies those were.
Yeah.
So definitely give it a chance, guys, if you see it. We were so excited to cover this, and as soon as season 3 drops, we'll be here to
sure, for sure.
We'll actually, I think we'll do like 2 or 3 podcasts, and we will cover every episode.
That works. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
For those who don't know, Dalton here has his own podcast, Climpcast. It's not an every week kind of thing. It's just whenever he can get it out. He's a busy dude.
But it's not.
Hard. You work hard. You're in school. You can't get busting out every week. So when this drops in January, maybe we'll do episodes 1, 2, and 3 on mine, and episodes 4, 5, and 6 on yours, and then we'll do a full recap as like a double podcast.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It'll be released on both channels. So, yeah. But with that being said, we're at an hour. Before we finish, I do want to bring up one thing. I didn't want to get into it too much, but this is November 7th. As of today, we have learned that Joe Biden has been announced as our next president. You and I both voted for Trump. A lot of the people we know voted for Trump, but I want to say congratulations to Joe. Congratulations to Kamala Harris. And here's hoping that the next 4 years goes as smooth as it can. I mean, like I said, I am a registered Democrat. I've said that before. I voted Republican this year. But I love my country. I'm going to support the commander in chief.
Exactly.
That's who he is.
He's the president of this country. There's nothing we can really do about it. At least as us individually. I mean, we just got to respect him and continue to respect our country.
That's it. So here's to you, Sleepy Joe.
Hopefully, as a country, we can stay united.
Exactly.
And not lead into any more separation as people.
I hear you. So with that, we're going to cut it out.
Thanks for having me.
I'm sure you are too.
Appreciate it, man. Oh, yeah.
All right. So as always, go down, check the links out to the Climpcast. Give him a listen. You can find him on Spotify also. We'll talk to y'all later.
See ya.
Strike first. Strike hard.
No mercy, sir.